the Iron Curtain. 3 years of shaky post-war democracy came to an end in 1948, when the Communists seized power in a successful putsch. Europe had split into two parts, along an invisible line that became known as the Iron Curtain, after a famous speech in which Winston Churchill expressed his sorrow for the countries left behind the Iron Curtain under the rule of the Soviet Union. Not just Czechoslovakia, but Poland, Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania. Freedom to travel was curtailed, and the borders with the West were closed. Meanwhile, Yugoslavia resisted Soviet domination and took its own road to communism. Greece, where the Communists caused a civil war, found itself under great pressure. In the end, it defeated communism only at the cost of a right-wing military dictatorship that lasted until the early 1970s. But it was Berlin that became the most striking symbol of the Iron Curtain. At the beginning of the 1960s, the Communists built the Berlin Wall, which separated the Germans living in the west and east of the city. Hard times. For the Havels, the year 1948 changed everything. The Lucerne Palace and the Barrandov Studios were taken from them, as well as all the other related firms they owned. Until 1952, Václav Havel's father was still allowed to work in the Lucerne, although at one point he was interrogated and even briefly imprisoned. It must have been terrible for him to witness the damage inflicted by incompetent communist management on the property that his family had built up. Uncle Miloš tried to escape to Austria, but was caught and sent to prison. Later, he succeeded in crossing the border to West Germany, but his luck in life had more or less run out. The Communists confiscated the villa in Zlín that had belonged to Václav's maternal grandparents, and the whole extended family moved into an apartment in a block that Václav's grandfather had once built and owned. Later, they were forced to leave even this quite large apartment and move into a small apartment on an upper floor. Václav's mother, Božena, gradually sold her jewelry and other valuables to help the family survive these tough times. The Communists tried to move the Havels from Prague to the Sudetenland, but eventually failed because the family still had enough friends from old times who remembered their kindness and decency. The worst thing was that the regime took vengeance on the children of formerly bourgeois families. They were not allowed to study and were forced to train for manual occupations.